live.
We're live.
Happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So welcome to our first ever live stream of Hey, Let Me Ask You Something. The only podcast you'll ever need. We're going to wait for people to... Hey, you know what? If nobody shows up, that's okay.
we will not cry ourselves
We will not
to sleep.
cry ourselves to sleep. It's going to be a regular old... one of our episodes that we do.
Yeah, that's what we do.
It's okay. If anybody does show up, great.
We're here.
We're here. We're going to answer questions, but we do have stuff to talk about.
Yes.
So I want to get right into it because it's the holidays.
It is.
This is our last show of the season, and we're ending right before tomorrow is Thanksgiving here in the United States. And we are about to spend time with our respective families.
Yes, we are.
Are you? I'm assuming. Are you going to be spending
I
time?
am.
Okay.
I am.
All right. Me as well. I'm going to visit my parents for a couple hours. I don't go a lot. I mean, I don't go for a lot of time. I haven't really. Like Christmas is the one that I go and spend time with them more.
So, like, what time do you go tomorrow?
I'll go at noon.
And leave at
like 2.
Okay.
And then come back and we'll have dinner at our house and like hang out with friends and stuff.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Mine will be a little bit more extensive, I think. Maybe about 2. I really want to watch football, so I think 2-ish. We won't eat till 5-ish, which means I won't get out of there till 7-ish. So it is a good amount of time tomorrow. Christmas is probably a little bit similar to what tomorrow is. So tomorrow's a good amount of time. Then my parents, my friends coming, and my brother and his family.
That's nice.
It's a nice little group.
Do you ever have like a ton of people, or is it always fairly small?
The ton of people would be at my brother's at Christmas time because it's our family, and then it's her family. That's I wouldn't say tons. I've heard people say 100 people before. I'm like, wait, what? When I say a ton, I say maybe 15 people. What's happening?
I'm just looking to see if anybody showed up yet. It's like we send invites out for a party, and like we're just waiting like for the door to ring or the door to.
But let me just say that I messed up, and I thought we were doing Facebook Live.
So everybody's waiting on Facebook.
Yeah,
for us
there could be people waiting on Facebook.
Right. If you're on Facebook, head on over.
Get the memos.
If anybody can hear us, we do have a topic we want to talk about. If anything comes up, if anybody shows up and they want to ask questions, great. But we do have a topic we want to talk about.
Yes.
And that is family and the holidays.
Woo,
right?
woo.
Woo. Family and the holidays, specifically how to handle family, friends, stress on the holidays, because any other time during the year, I think our tolerance level is higher. But I think on the holidays, we do tend to be a little more high strung. So how do you usually find you handle your family, hanging out with your family?
I think that as far as the holiday season is concerned, it's not bad. We instituted like a Pollyanna or Secret Santa situation years and years ago, which makes the actual gift buying thing way less stressful.
Oh, so you have to buy for one person.
I mean, we still buy for the kids, but when it comes to the adults, it's one. And that literally made a major difference in feeling that stress around shopping. And then with friends, we don't really do a whole lot of that with my friends of gifts. Like we might spend time, but so the gift buying thing I think is under wraps. I don't know. I think we do okay. I mean, we're wacky like lots of families, and there's been times where things have gone off the tracks, but it's not bad, and it's not extensive, like super extensive periods of time. Like some people have to spend days because they have to travel out of state, and luckily I don't. My brother's out of state at Christmas time, but he's an hour and a half away, which to me is not that far.
That's not far.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Like when I lived in LA, it was like flying back for the holidays was crazy. And we would only fly back for Christmas and then stay through New Year's and then come back. So we were home for like 2 weeks ish.
I think that not to cut you off, I think that's the hardest, is having this conversation with someone today, because if you live that far away, right, you aren't used to spending that much time with your family. And so it's like, we don't see each other but 2, maybe 3 times a year. I'm making that up. But for somebody as far as LA, you don't see them all the time usually. Right. And now all of a sudden we're spending a week or, a decent amount of time with people we don't spend that much time with. So that's when I think it can really, really be tough. I think the shorter windows are probably slightly easier.
Do you think it's so stressful because there's so much catch up to do?
Not necessarily. That could be part of it. I think it's the stress of whoever's hosting, getting everything together, and the food and making sure everybody's comfortable is stressful for the person hosting. I think that, family dynamics play out when we all get back together, as much as we don't want them to. And some might not be the greatest. And so that can be stressful. Certain family members that maybe are difficult for certain people to deal with, to interact with. And then there's possibly the family that you don't see very much. And then that could be awkward and weird, like the weird uncle or aunt.
I am the weird uncle. Oh my God.
So
that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of factors. And plus everyone's tired. It's a lot of parties in the holiday season. Some people have more stressors than I just illustrated, or illustrates from where that I just spoke about around gift buying and all that stuff. And then you're trying to work. And so everyone's really tired too. And then a lot of obligations.
So it's not just like a regular visit, because if you're just hanging out with your parents or whatever, there's not a lot of stress about what we're going to eat, where we're going to go, what we're going to do with the presents. But I think on the holidays, there's the added, who's cooking dinner? What am I bringing? What can we eat? What can't we eat? Wrangling, especially if you have kids, wrangling the kids to sit and eat, or like not open presents or not bug anybody. And it's everybody in one place at one time.
Right. And then what time do we eat? That can be a point of conflict for some people. If this person can't get there till then, but this other person wants to eat at this. I mean, there can be so many different things.
I feel like the winter, being here in North America, we have listeners all over, so I have to be very specific about where we are. In North America, the end of the year holidays that we have, I feel like are more stressful than any of the other ones. Like,
oh yeah,
especially in America, like 4th of July or like Arbor Day. I don't know if you love trees as much as I do, but they all don't feel as, or Easter, I don't think that feels as crazy as Thanksgiving and Christmas. I wonder why that is.
And Hanukkah.
And Hanukkah, that's true. And Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you may celebrate as the end of the year festivities. Is that true? Do you feel like that's,
it's way more.
Why is that? Like, why is the end of the year so much more stressful than any other time?
It's a good question.
Thank you. I'm full of them.
It's such a big deal. I don't know. I honestly think that Christmas and Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, it's like the last hurrah for the deep depression. No, I'm being really morbid.
Wow.
But, there's not much to look forward to for the remainder of the cold weather.
That's actually, I laugh, but that's actually not, you're not off base, because and I may be wrong about the statistics, but end of the year holidays is usually when there's an uptick in people like depression or like, people reaching out for help. I don't know if I'm wrong about that.
No, well, kind of, yes. I think during the holidays is when people might get into some turmoil around the stuff we're talking about here, as well as it's getting colder and colder, harder and harder to be outside, maybe not as motivated to do things. I think it really hits home though. Like the upswing typically in my business is in January, February, March, not now. Now everybody's still in the throes of it. Maybe they're even a little excited about it.
Oh, interesting. So it's like a after party slump.
Yeah, because think about it. You're so busy. Like there's so much to do. There's so many things going on. You're running. Well, not last year, but you're kind of moving and going to parties, to shopping, to whatever you've got going on, and you don't even necessarily always know the toll it takes on you. Right. But once the holidays are over, people may really feel the feels around what that whole season was just like for them and how it affected them, as well as now it's really cold or really dark and now there's nothing to look forward to. It's kind of the, like after you have a really great weekend and then you have to go back to like regular life and you're like womp womp and you're kind of down about it, but like to a bigger degree.
Sad trombone.
Right.
Anybody who's watching on YouTube, if you have a question for us about the holidays, dealing with family or friends or anything else, drop it in the chat. We're happy to answer questions. We're just talking about how we deal with families, thinking of some fun things or like good ideas for people who may find it extra special stressful during the holidays to deal with people. Extra special stressful.
I'm glad you got that out though.
Thank you. That's a new diagnosis. I'm going to write a book. Extra special stressful.
Can you say that 3 times fast?
Extra special stressful. Extra special stressful. Extra special stressful. Toy boat. And also, I find it hard to use a lot of the mindfulness techniques that I use the rest of the year, because I feel like I might be generalizing too much, but I feel like we forget ourselves more and our self-care more over the holidays than we do any other time of year.
Yes. I think people drink more. I think people are out more.
Some of us drink just as much.
No, people aren't sleeping as well because of everything I just said. There's just added, now we've got to buy presents. Now we've got to buy food or make a food.
Make a food. Just one.
There's so many more things to do that it's that much harder to put yourself first.
Yeah, that's what it is. You put everybody else first in the holidays because it's like, who am I buying presents? Oh, I got to buy presents for everybody. I got to make food for everybody. I got to show up for everybody.
Yeah.
And then that's probably why people like January, February, March, like you said, are coming to you and me for help, is because it's like, now I finally get to breathe and I forgot about myself for the last month and a half and I need some help getting back.
Yeah, or stuff played out with family that they now are like, oh, maybe they've known has been a problem and now it's just been highlighted that I really probably need to start addressing this thing that happened yet again.
Right.
Due to maybe some extra time.
And it is possible to not forget about yourself during the holidays, to take a break, to take a moment, step away from all the madness.
Yeah.
And I think the first thing I'll say, I always go back to this one. I may sound like a broken record about it, but it really is the one of the easiest things you can do to practice some mindfulness and kind of take a break from everything and get recentered is just to go somewhere quiet, close your eyes, 60 seconds. That's it. 1 minute, just focus on your breathing.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't try to change your breathing. Don't try to like do any weird breathing or like in Lamaze or anything like that. Just take 60 seconds, close your eyes, and just focus, like just notice your breath. Don't try to change it. Just like, oh, I'm breathing. Look at that. And then that's it. And it really does help to press a restart. It helps like even out your mood, gives you a break. If you think about it, and I may be going on a tangent, but bear with me.
That's fine.
Go on a journey with me if you
I
will.
am. I'm in the car.
I think we're in the car. Fasten your seatbelts, kids. We're going to Poconos. It's going to be cold. People who smoke, they take more breaks and they go outside and they have you have that moment where they can step away from their desk. They have an excuse. Oh, I'm going to smoke, right? But really, what it is they're taking a break and going and like breathing, like they're focusing on their. I mean, I'm oversimplifying, but it's like they're doing this ritual that relaxes them.
Yes. True.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's totally true. The whole smoke break thing was a way to step away. Maybe it's not healthy that you're smoking. It's not the kind of breaths that
True.
But yes, you are getting up and removing yourself, and for many people, that is relaxing. So no, you're right.
Right.
And I always say it. I must say it all the time. I think because I'm in the bathroom a lot. I'm always like, because I'm constantly drinking water, so I'm constantly going to the bathroom. So I always say, like, if you can't get away anywhere else, go to the bathroom. Go into the bathroom, take some breaths, wash your face, just hang for 5 or 10 minutes. And just if that's the only way you can kind of feel like you can get away in a way that's acceptable.
Right.
Or you just go out if you don't have to smoke, or you just go outside for a little while, or you take your dog or a family dog or any animal outside.
Borrow somebody's dog.
Get the squirrel, take it for a walk. I don't know.
Train a squirrel.
Yeah.
Hang out in the bathroom if safe in terms of the air quality.
Sure.
I will say
important to note.
We have our first comment. Hi Dan.
Hi Dan.
P don't smoke is my new t-shirt. P don't smoke.
What?
P don't smoke. Oh, so go on a bathroom break and don't smoke.
Oh, P don't smoke.
P don't smoke.
Gotcha,
I like
Dan.
it. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
P don't smoke.
Well,
I think
I like his public service announcement.
Yeah, this has been a PSA from the Philadelphia Department of Health. P don't smoke. I want to direct that commercial.
I think no. I mean, whatever. The thing is, if it can get you away, and when you're in a social situation, you're around a lot of family, it's often hard to find those spaces or ways to get away and kind of like address how you're feeling and cope with what you might be feeling, or just get a minute to yourself.
Yeah.
And so if it's outside to have a smoke, outside to take a walk around the block, or walk a dog, or go to the bathroom, I just feel like no matter where you are, the bathroom most often is best if it's a solitary bathroom, but isn't a way to just sort of get away from where you are and just be alone for a minute, 5 minutes.
Also, speaking of bathroom, there's another way if you are having a little bit of overwhelm at any point and you need to reset, push the reset button. Not only is the breathing thing that I just mentioned good, but if you are in a bathroom and you want to do a hard reset, do the water in the face thing.
Yes.
There is actual scientific evidence that if you do the cold water, splash it on your face, it's called something like the diver's reflex or something. Yeah, there's an actual name for it, and it's been like scientifically studied. Doing that has some kind of reaction in your brain, like deep in your brain, where it resets your emotional state and your breathing and everything and your blood pressure.
Oh.
It's like a studied, proven thing. So if you do have access, like if you're with your family and it's feeling really overwhelming and you need to take a break and like go somewhere, go to the bathroom, focus on your breath for a little bit, and then splash some water on your face. And it really does help to like reset you emotionally.
It makes sense because it's like, if you think about taking a shower.
Same thing.
Yeah. Not always, but can often make you feel better or shift your mood.
Mm-hmm.
Just the water on your face, on your hair, your head, so that makes sense to me.
Absolutely. And don't, this is another thing. Don't feel like you owe anybody an explanation. Right. Like if you, like, nobody owes anybody an explanation. Like, oh, I'm going to go outside and have a smoke. That's it. Like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom for a minute. I'll be right back. That's it.
Right.
Go to the bathroom, 60 seconds, focus on your breathing, do a quick splash,
I don't know if there's a time limit in the bathroom. I mean,
in my house, there's a lot of people. There's in and out.
Is there a line?
Sometimes. I remember back when I was little and there was a ton of people in that, like, we used to have gigantic, like, we were the Norman Rockwell painting where like everybody's at the long table and the turkey and everything. There was a line, I'm sure, for the bathroom that we would have to wait. Absolutely. We only had one bathroom in that house. Holy cow. Yeah. So yeah, there was a time when you were like, in and out, let's go. What are you waiting for?
Got it.
But like, yeah, if there's a line for the bathroom, just go outside. Focus on your breath.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste, and don't feel bad about doing it. I can't stress that enough. We sometimes get way too worried about what other people think about what we're doing for self-care. I don't give a rat's patootie. Like if I
Nobody
need to
cares
do it,
either. Most of the time, no one cares.
But that's another thing. The things that you think people are focused on or are noticing, 99.99% of the time,
Right.
nobody's noticing and nobody cares.
Right.
It's in your head.
Yeah.
Right. So suck on that, everybody.
All right. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. So what other things may pop up for people as they're visiting their families that can be stressors?
Well, I don't know if I'm going in a slightly different direction.
Go in any direction you would like. It's a special occasion.
Did somebody else join?
Oh, hey, Kyle. Thanks for showing up. This is a great question. How do I deal with the Republicans at the holiday party?
Oh,
man.
I didn't even know you, Kyle.
Whoa.
But, wow, you went right in.
It's a 20-minute time of death, 20 minutes into the... Man, good question. Thank you, Kyle. Great question. Oh, man. Well, I mean, I have a bunch of Republicans in my family, so there's always those conversations. And you personally cannot usually dictate if they happen at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to happen especially if people are drinking and having a good time. It's going to come up. People are going to mention stuff. Ooh, how would you, from a therapy?
Do I? Not would I?
Well, do you? Yes.
I have the same family.
Please share.
I try not to engage.
But what if somebody starts at like, what I wish things would be different if X, Y, and Z were still A, B, C.
I don't know if this is the therapist answer about it, but I literally try not to engage. I literally try to leave the room, just say I'm not going to talk about it. Sometimes I might have a moment or two of a little snarky comment that doesn't go well. Like I don't want to have the conversation.
Right.
So I just try to shut it down and they can go have their own conversation together, Republican family members. I do not want to, I literally want to go to the other side of the house, and I'll be back when you're done. That's how I handle it, because I don't think it's going to go anywhere good if I engage.
Agreed. It's a lot of, now we're getting into conversation about conversations, and how sometimes people just they don't want to have a conversation. They just want to be
change your mind.
They just want to change your mind. That's not a conversation. That's like talking at somebody. What I do is, and my dad does this a lot, he'll bring up something about, that other guy, if he was still there, we wouldn't be doing like, first of all, you don't know. Secondly, I try to, first of all, I say, what happens when we talk about politics?
Yeah.
I want to enjoy, this is what I say, Dad, I want to come and I want to enjoy my time with you. I want to have nice conversations about stuff. I don't want to start anything. Yeah. Let's not, because we've had some knockdown, drag out conversations about,
not good.
I don't want to do it. And I just remind him like, hey, you know what? I want to talk about something else. I want to enjoy our time together. I try to put a positive spin on it. I'm here. I want to enjoy you. I want to enjoy Mom. Let's talk about something else. But if he is insistent on stuff, I try to focus on the things we have in common.
Yeah.
And I try to say, you know what? What do we all want? We all want the country to succeed. We all want to have lower taxes and, gas and all that kind of stuff. I try to focus on the things we have in common, because really, at the end of the day, we all have more in common. I know this sounds like an overused trope, but we all have more in common than we do that separates us. So if you focus on the things we have in common, like, you know what? I want gas prices to be lower too. I want taxes to be lower too. I want big companies to pay their fair share. We all want that. I don't think you're going to find anybody that says, no, I want gas prices to be $10 a gallon. It's a safe bet to say, hey, we all want gas prices to be lower. And that's, try that.
Yeah.
See if that works. And if it doesn't, do what you do. You know what? I just want to enjoy our time together. I'm going to step out for a minute and do a non-smoke break. I'll be back.
Right.
Usually that helps to kind of reset it too, because sometimes people are itching for a confrontation. And if you take the steam out of the pipe right away, I don't know, I'm bad with metaphors. If you take the air out of the tires before the car gets going and the horse is out of the barn, sometimes, I know I'm beating this to death. it'll short circuit the conversation before it starts. Like if you find a way to like get out of it.
I'm not always good at it. Sometimes I get into it a little,
Right.
and then I haven't been in like a big one, but like a snarky comment here and there, and then it's like, okay, this needs to stop now because this is not going to go anywhere good.
Right. And it's focusing. I think sometimes people will come to a conversation not willing to have a conversation.
Right.
They just want to like say, I'm right. Look at all this stuff that's happening. You can't really have a conversation with somebody who's not willing to have a conversation. So that's that. And if it's uneven like that, you just don't want to engage with them at all. But like we said, try to focus on the positive stuff. Try to find the places where you can all agree on stuff. Because that nothing takes the wind out of somebody's sails who wants a fight more than if you agree with them. Like, well, look at all the gas prices. It wouldn't be that way if so and so was in. You're right. Gas prices are ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
And that agreeing with somebody who wants a fight is the surest way to kind of deflate the situation before it even gets somewhere.
Yeah, and in my family, not everybody wants a fight. Like I have a family member who really just loves to talk about it. It's just that oftentimes we're very much in disagreement, and I just don't want to get into it. I'm not mad at them, I just kind of.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So it's not, there's some people that just love to talk about it and want to talk about it, but that's not me when I'm there, because it just doesn't. Yeah, I just can't. I just don't, and I just try to avoid because it's better.
And that's the other thing. These are the people, like our family specifically, it's always weird around the holidays because it's people that you can get into these screaming matches with, but at the end of the day, you all love each other.
Right, exactly.
And I try to think ahead to, what's tomorrow going to be like? I don't want to say anything nasty or like get into a shouting match or get red in the face with people I love, because it's going to be over. Once that initial like adrenaline rush subsides, because it always subsides, there's going to be that period of like, oh, I should. And we talked about this last week.
Eggs and pancakes the next day.
Right.
And
how you want more bacon, you want some coffee, everything's great, kiss on the forehead.
Right.
It gets to there anyway. So trying to navigate that initial, rush of adrenaline is the important part.
Yeah.
And finding ways to agree on stuff, finding points that you all agree with is the best way to kind of take the sails out of a fight if it's going to turn into a weird fight. And sometimes, like you said, it's just people needling you for something, just don't engage with it.
Yeah. And I hope we answered your question, Kyle.
I hope we answered your question.
Something with it. I don't know.
We batted it around a little bit.
We batted it around.
I think that's but it's a good question because not all families are going to agree on it. And also the other way around. I don't want to just put Republicans in the. It's about. Let me move this just a little.
Sorry,
that's okay. You're pushing. You're pushing stuff. That's okay.
My feet up.
Get everything marked out. Back to one. It's not just Republicans. Like if you're a family of Democrats and you have one Republican in the mix, it's the same thing. Try to find places where you agree on stuff and try to go from there. I think that's the nicest way to do it. And also remind people, what are we really fighting about? Why are you getting angry? What is this about? It's just like it's taking a step out and it's like saying, listen, everybody's getting really heated right now. Let's have some pie.
Let's take some pie. Have some pie, right?
Let's have some pie. That's the other thing. What are other things in the moment that you can do to kind of de-escalate something? And not to say that I want to, sorry, I just want to say like a caveat that not all of these are going to be like shouting matches. No. There are families that can have really nice conversations. What if things get a little tense?
I think the stuff you've already said is what you should do. Somebody make a joke, somebody like remind everyone what we're here to do, trying to almost change the subject in a way, but acknowledging that there's a situation that probably should be ended. And then if like, you can't, if it gets so far gone that there's like 2 or 3 people going, I would have all of it, the rest of us removed.
Just point them at each other and step away.
and you could try to de-escalate, but how sometimes people really get, especially if they're drinking and there's like a little bit.
Sure.
Like it can get really heated and then there's no way for somebody else, then removing yourselves from that to another room might be, I can't think of anything else to do. kind of to go off a little bit, but on
Please.
the same topic of just managing sometimes the stresses, and just sometimes it's hard for people to be around family a lot given lots of history and stuff. Is boundaries. Boundaries and expectations are the two things that jump up for me. So we were talking earlier about what you were saying, how what you're going to do tomorrow, of like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to cook, and then I'm going to go see my parents, and then I'm going to be doing that for a finite amount of time, and then I'm going to come back, and me and Dan are going to have our time together. That's another way to try to cope with, deal with, take care of yourself during the holidays, is putting boundaries in place. And sometimes I think we lose sight of that, and around that time of year, worrying about everyone else, which you said a few minutes ago, of not trying to be everything to everyone, not trying to give even amount of time to this parent or person to that like making it so even, so that you and your partner, you and yourself are feeling so stressed out and exhausted that you can't even enjoy the holiday. So it's defining what you want also in everything, and saying, this is my boundary. I'm going to go see this person, but I'm going to see them for an hour. I'm going to let them know what it is. That's the managing of the expectations. And knowing that, you know what, they may not always be happy about that. Like the person, the parent, the whatever, might want more time, but you're defining, you're giving them the time, you're making it a point, but you're also in a way taking care of yourself in your own holiday, in your own experience.
That's a great point, because again, going back to what we were saying before about forgetting yourself during the holidays and putting everybody else first, I think that's a great point but I don't know if budgeting your time is the right phrase, but, having a schedule, giving yourself time, is a great way to make you feel powerful in some way, like, okay, I'm going to spend this amount of time here, and then I'm going to go home, and like, don't feel bad about not overstaying your welcome. Like if you're at your parents' house or a relative's house and you're having dinner and you really just feel like, man, all right, this has run its course. Like we've had dinner, and now everybody's just drinking and getting like angry at each other. Don't be afraid to be like, you know what? This has been wonderful. We've had dinner. We had a few drinks. We had some laughs. This is great. I love seeing everybody. I'll see you in a couple weeks for another holiday. I have another thing I need to go to, or I just, it's time for me to go to bed. And don't feel bad about that.
Because I think everybody, I don't want to say everybody, that's a generalization, but I think in some families, different people within the family have their own expectations of what they want.
Right.
But they can be very different from what another family member wants. And so if you get too caught up in pleasing other people, you don't ever get what you want and how you want your holiday to go. So it's managing, trying to get what you would like out of the holiday with a little bit of, not a little bit, whatever the ratio is. I'm not going to sit here and tell someone what to do, but like, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Tell them what to do.
You should have 50-50 now. But that you then, I forgot what I was saying, but I was just saying that they may not love it. Your initial reaction may not be that you people pleased, but they will deal with it. If you're giving them what you can give and you're trying to balance it out, especially if you have a partner, then you got to think about your partner and what your partner wants. So there's a whole other thing. Right. So I think people struggle, and I remember doing this in my, I was going to say my early life, my early adulthood, of like trying to run around and keep everybody happy. And when I look back at that, I'm like, that was crazy.
That's a great point, but that holidays are for everybody. So if you're the kind of person who puts everybody first during the holidays, you're not enjoying the holiday. The holiday is for you too. It's for you to have a pumpkin spice latte if you want one. I've never had one. It sounds gross.
Yeah, not for me.
Some people may love them.
I
don't. It's just sound. I love pumpkin. I like pumpkin pie. I like pumpkin cheesecake.
Nope.
You don't like pumpkin pie?
Nope.
What? Show's over. Everybody go. What? How do you not like pumpkin
I do not
pie?
like
Is it
pumpkin
the
pie.
texture?
I don't like it. I don't hate it. Like, if I had to eat a piece of pumpkin pie or I would die, I could eat it. Like, I don't despise it, but I don't love it at all.
Do you like pumpkin in general? Don't like pumpkin spice or anything?
It's okay.
Because pumpkin pie is like
okay.
Pumpkin pie is like cheesecake. Like, you like cheesecake, right?
It's okay.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm not a giant,
You're
like,
a
super sweets
sweet
person. Like, I like cherry pie, believe it or not.
Really?
Yes. With
Okay.
whipped cream, yes.
Okay.
But I'm not a big cakes. I don't like donuts really. It's too sweet.
Okay.
I could have a small little, but the whole pumpkin, I will not eat pumpkin pie tomorrow.
Okay. Well, save
If
whatever
it's
you're not
cherry,
going to
I
eat.
might
Just
eat a piece of that.
send it to me.
Send it to you.
Yeah, I'll eat it. See, I don't like cherry pie either. Oh, good points. Much appreciated.
What happened?
Oh, Kyle saying, "Great, thank you." And we helped somebody today.
We did. We are on fire.
Right.
It
We
is
are
the
in
season
fuego.
finale, and we have done it.
Yes. No cliffhangers this
Yep.
season.
Yep.
No. Oh man, interesting. See, I like the texture. Like I like pumpkin pie. I like
think I like the
key lime pie.
I do love key lime pie.
Banana cream pie.
No.
Really?
Key lime pie I like. Which is weird because it's the same
Interesting.
texture.
Okay. Interesting. I totally forgot what we were talking about because we got sidetracked on a dessert.
We're talking about boundaries and making sure you enjoy the holidays too. And
that's right. Yeah, holidays are for you too. So if you feel like, wow, I'm stressed, I'm putting everybody else first, realize like Thanksgiving is for you too. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever holiday you are celebrating. I know there's a bunch more I'm forgetting, and I feel bad. I should have a list. It's for you too. It's for everybody. So, take some time out and enjoy and try to enjoy it.
I sometimes think what makes people hate the holidays is, as an adult anyway, you have some responsibility in that.
Mm-hmm.
That felt profound.
It does. Wow.
But you do. Like, you don't have to do anything. And even if you feel like you have to, you don't have to do it all day or for 3 days. Like, create your own.
Yeah. That's another thing. Thank you for saying that, because that reminded me of something else we talked about a couple episodes ago about doing things by yourself. It was the Making Friends episode.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah. And if you don't want to do anything for the holiday and you want to spend it by yourself and go to a movie and cook yourself a little chicken breast and like some mashed potatoes and watch Netflix, do that. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Like if you can tell your family like, hey, you know what? It's been a crazy year. Like I'm looking forward to having a day off when I can just relax and read the newspaper and eat some food by myself. And that's fine. Like, it's not that you don't love anybody less, or it's like you don't want to see anybody. I think I would tell somebody, a client, that it sounds like you've reached the point where self-care is now an imperative and not just a like, maybe I'll get to it later. Like when you get to the point where you're like, I just don't want to see anybody and I need to take a break and have a day to myself, that means your self-care is like, wee.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking about New Year's when you were talking about that, because that's such a high pressure holiday, I guess, for people to have something to do. It doesn't mean you're like going to Times Square or doing a rager, but it's like people seem to have, some people, not everyone, but a hard time saying, I'm doing nothing but what I do every other night on New Year's Eve. Right. Sometimes that's just what you need or what you want. And being able to just say, I'm doing nothing. I'm staying at home and I'm going to watch a movie and go to bed.
Absolutely. And that's totally valid.
Yeah.
Do that. I mean, I think we have this expectation that, I need to go out and I need to see my family. I need to do this. No, you don't. We live in a very connected world where there's other ways to get in touch with people. If you really don't, it's not, you don't have the bandwidth, and I hate using it because it sounds so corporate, but if you don't have the bandwidth to go see your family and you just want to like send them a card or call and say, hey, I miss you guys. We'll see you, for New Year's or whatever. Great. Do that. Don't worry about what anybody else is going to think. Because speaking for myself, if I was going to hang out with a family member or my parents or something, and they called me and they said, hey, you know what? We had a long week. We're tired. We just feel like, can we reschedule? I'd be like, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, great. I'll find something else to do. I'm okay. Like, I don't take it personally of like, why don't you want to see me? Am I not enough? Like that's your damage. Mm-hmm. That's not, But yeah, don't feel bad about spending time by yourself. I think that's necessary.
Yeah.
Even on the holidays, it's fighting against not only family expectations but societal expectations.
I think in the expectations we put on ourselves.
Sure. Oh, say
You
more
see
about that.
that?
Yeah, like yeah.
No, I think especially if you're a people pleaser, then it's on fire.
Mhm.
But just thinking that we have to do all these things, it's a lot of have tos that come up in people's language during the holidays. I have to do this. I have to get this gift. I have to be at this whatever. Do you have to do all those things? Just really asking yourself that.
You don't have to.
Mm-mm.
That's
No one's getting arrested for not getting a gift for someone.
Well,
last I checked.
Yeah. Well, the
I mean,
Christmas
if you don't leave
police.
cookies out for Santa, you might get arrested.
That's when Krampus comes. I don't want to scare anybody, but milk and cookies are mandatory because otherwise you invite Krampus.
Krampus, yes.
Don't make me tell the story of Krampus because I don't know it.
Okay, good. Because I don't either.
I don't. Great.
So,
we'll make something
this
up.
This is a good podcast.
This isn't a story podcast. It's an answering questions podcast.
Yes, it is. Thank you for explaining.
Thank you for attending. What else happens during the holidays that really stresses people out? The odd conversations, having to go and see your family at all.
Interacting with family you don't see very often, I guess.
Yeah, and talking about your personal life. I think that could be, that's a trigger for some people. I know especially people who may live a life that their family may find contrary.
Mm-hmm.
To put it delicately, I feel like sometimes a lot of people have just general agita going to see their parents and their family anyway. Man, what would you tell somebody that?
I would tell them to share as much as they feel comfortable sharing. That there's no need to go into all these details and there's no need to answer all of their questions.
Right.
You answer what you want to answer and you reveal as much as you feel comfortable revealing.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what else to say.
I agree with that. I think, it's your life, live your life, and you don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah.
You don't owe an explanation. You don't owe a story. You don't owe details about anything. You share what you want to share. It's your story to tell. And if you don't want to tell your story to somebody, you don't have to.
Right. No.
Even if it's your parents or your family, say, I appreciate the question. It's, everything's going great. And that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And
obviously it could be different for different people.
Of course. I mean, if you're a close family and you want to share stuff, absolutely, share. But like you said, to your level of comfort, you don't feel obligated to share anything with anybody. And I think it's hard when you are close to your family.
Yeah.
And you want to share, but there may be things that you can't share. First of all, I think the most important thing to say is you're not alone.
Right. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Part of the human experience that everybody has something like that, I think, at some point in their life. So try not to feel too alone because there are other people who share in that experience with you. But also, having said that, number two, be strong in yourself and your story. It's your story. You own it. And you share as much as you want to share.
Yeah, because oftentimes, we have to figure out who our parents are as we're adults and hopefully grow to accept who they are, what they can and cannot give us. Mm-hmm. So certain things we might want to express and share we may not get what we want or need from our parents because they may not be able to. So that's something also, they just might not be able to give us maybe the validation or the whatever it is that we want to get from them. So us sharing certain things would really just be setting us up for maybe repeats of things that happened in childhood. And it's not a criticism of parents. It's just what people can and cannot give. So you have to really think about that too when you're thinking about sharing. And also, you might feel very differently about what you share with your parents versus what you share with Aunt Sue, who you see once a year.
Aunt Sue. Oh, if you're here, I love you, Aunt Sue.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for
Sue.
coming, Aunt Sue. Yeah, that's a great point. Of as we age and mature, we see our family in a different way.
Yes.
Because we start to see, and it's hard, especially with your parents, it's hard to see them as separate human beings. Like they are adults that have lived a life and have had experiences and have like, and as we mature, it's hard to separate the people that are our parents and took care of us and gave us everything and like helped us become the people we are, and then see them as they are their own separate people who have lived lives and have had experiences and like
and aren't perfect.
You know, and I think we can extend that in some way, shape, or form to our extended family as well, like brothers, sisters, cousins, you know, aunts, uncles. We have a view of them in our child mind. And then as we mature and grow, we become an adult, and I think it's hard to see them any other way. That's a great point. Wow. I never thought about that.
This is stuff I talk about in therapy.
Oh boy.
It's easy to talk about. It's very difficult to do, because often as even adults, we will repeat patterns as children where we're trying to get maybe a certain need met that our parent isn't able to meet. And then we just continue to, not always trauma, but reignite that painful, whatever it is. And so taking that step back and being able to see our parents as imperfect humans like we are, and what they and accept and understand what they can and cannot give us, even though that can be very painful and very difficult, then we hopefully can stop setting ourselves up to continue to be disappointed and hurt and feel whatever it is we feel when we go to them in the same way and getting the same reaction.
Yeah. And I think you said something really poignant, if I can use that word. That's my only 50-cent word for the day. Is, you know, maybe we're asking our parents for something they can't give us, just as human beings.
That's the conversation I have a lot with people. Yeah.
Man, that hit me in the feels, in my feel sack.
Did I do a little therapy with you tonight?
You did.
Oh.
We're going to continue live therapy. Live full frontal therapy is what's happening. No, I think that can apply to everybody too, because, you know, like we were talking about before, we have this different avatar. I don't know what the word is, but like this idea of our parents in our brains. And, you know, we grow up thinking they can give us everything because they're like the moon and the sun.
Yeah.
But they can't, because they're human beings, you know, just like us. And I think that may actually help with Kyle's question before too, of how do you handle conversations with people who may think differently politically, religiously, whatever the case may be. Thinking of them as not as family, but as human beings who have they've lived a life and they've come to this place on their path in a different way than you.
Yeah.
And realizing, you know, this person thinks differently and has had different experiences. And I think we take that for granted.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to hard conversations, no matter what it be, politics, religion, sexuality, you know, whatever the environment. I think we often assume that everybody thinks and feels like us, and they don't. And I think that's hard for our human brains to wrap themselves around sometimes, is, you know, this person I'm talking to has had a different experience.
Right.
And they think and feel differently because of the path that that's led them here. And maybe coming to any conversation from that point of view is helpful.
The why. Asking why rather than wanting to be angry and judge and react. It's the why.
It's the why.
Why is that happening? Why do they think that way? Why are they behaving that way?
Love it. Yeah. And why, I've heard this before from people, why could sometimes be confrontational, but it's important to ask. So maybe reframing it as,
I'm not even asking. Sorry, cutting off. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. What led you to that conclusion? You know, you're still asking why, but not in such a confrontation. Because sometimes when you ask somebody, well, why do you feel that way? It can feel like, why are you attacking me with that? and you can frame it as, well, what brought you there? Like, what makes you think that? Because I think that anytime you want to open the door to discovery rather than saying, no, you're wrong, this is why you're wrong, right?
Oh, I was just somewhere else where I was like, I was thinking not necessarily what I would say to somebody, but what I would think. So somebody does something and I really don't like it, right? I reacts in a certain way, and instead of reacting back, I'm not explaining this very well. Somebody does something that, let's just say, I don't like, or whatever. Instead of judging and putting them in a box and putting this whole negative spin on it, what I've tried to do, and I think I learned this through my own schooling and professional growth, is try to take a step back. Why did that just happen? Because it's so easy to place that like card of judgment, and I don't like that, and dismissal. And it's a little bit more involved to say, well, but why? Right. It's a way to take the judgment off and come to a place of understanding. Now, do I do this great all the time? Hell no, I don't. I wish I did, but I try really hard to do this. I obviously do it better when I'm working than I always do in my personal life. But yeah, I try really hard to do that. Yeah. But it's hard.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, everything we're talking about today it's not going to come easily for anybody, and it's going to take work, and you're not going to get it right all the time, but it's tools in your tool belt that you can use, if necessary. And also that what you were just saying resonated with me, of like asking why, especially for yourself, because I think, and I just talked about this in a class that I'm taking right now, is self-compassion actually is a better motivator and a better way to grow yourself as a human being rather than self-criticism. So asking why is actually just good all around, especially for yourself. Like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I thinking this way? How can I, what tools do I need what questions do I need to ask? Just being curious about what you're doing and why you're doing it is actually a great way to show yourself compassion and grow as a person.
Yeah.
And if you can extend that to other people, even better, because then, there's not enough curiosity in the world, I think.
Yeah.
I want to put that on my gravestone. Like, just
people
ask
want to
why.
stamp a judgment on it and throw it away rather than trying to understand it.
Stop judging, because all judging does, and this I think is perfect because it fits into like the whole family thing. When you go home, I feel like people expect or assume a lot of a judgment about things. All judgment does is it pushes everybody else down.
Yeah.
It makes you feel better about yourself by pushing everybody else down. And your place doesn't actually move. All you're doing is moving everybody else down. Yep. So you're at the same spot. You're just pushing people down to feel better. And it's hard to let that go.
Yeah.
Because we do want to be better than everyone. I think that's just a normal human thing. We want to be better than everybody else. But if you can find some inner strength of like, I don't need to push other people down to feel good about myself. I have these things going on that I'm happy, I'm proud of myself about this stuff. Finding all that resolve within yourself, I think also helps to alleviate a lot of the stuff we've been talking about tonight too.
Agreed. Yeah.
Have we agreed? Have we
Did
solved?
My ankle crack?
Was that your ankle?
Yeah, that was.
Are you okay? Do you need a cast? My God, I don't know if anybody else heard that. Jeepers creepers.
No, I'm fine.
You need to
actually felt good.
Drink some more milk or something.
No, I could do some more for you if you want.
No, please do not. Yikes. All right. I feel like this is a good time to kind of do a little wrap up. This has been, I hope everybody got something out of this. This is great.
I think so.
I think so too. This will be our last episode of the season. We're coming back, but of the year, we're going to take the rest of the year off to do some fun stuff with our family and friends. But this has been fun. I'm excited about this.
Yes.
This will be posted as a regular episode on our website, Buzzsprout website, which will be in the notes of this show after it's been posted. We're going to do more of these.
Yes.
I think this is great. Thank you, everybody here who joined into the conversation.
Thank you.
All 2 of you. This has been great.
Thank you.
You know what? It doesn't matter. We had this conversation before we started. If one person showed up, great. If nobody showed up, great. And I think there needs to be more of that.
We're getting our feet wet.
We're getting our feet wet. I think this is awesome. We want to do more of this and answer people's questions and have fun and start conversations. That's why we do this.
Yes.
We might not be the experts or know everything, but at least we can start the conversation rolling.
Yes.
So people can find their own answers and do some fun stuff. Continue these conversations, please, with each other. Start conversations, be curious, ask questions. You don't have to be the expert. That's so much pressure to be the expert in everything. Don't do that.
We don't pretend to be.
We don't pretend to be. I am not the expert in everything. And taking that weight off your shoulders actually makes life more fun.
Yeah.
So do more of that. If you want to learn more about us, I am very findable. I am literally everywhere on the internet. I am on LinkedIn and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. You're here. You know that already. You can search for my name, Ralph Andracchio, or you can search for True Engine Coaching. I'm everywhere. And I'm also open to having virtual coffee with anybody if you want to talk about anything or, talking about maybe partnering up and doing stuff. I have some openings in my calendar. So let's talk. And if anybody wants to work with you or talk more to you, how can they do that?
I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram. My website is thephillytherapistkristen.com. I also offer, not coffee, but free phone consultations. I am accepting new clients. My email is thephillytherapistkristen@gmail. I think that's, I don't know if there's something else. Those are ways to find me if you would like to.
Yeah. And if you go to the Hey, Let Me Ask You Something YouTube or podcast homepage, our contact information is there too. Yeah. We're very findable. I think that's it.
I think it's time for a happy holidays and a happy new year.
I think it is. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the podcast, making it so successful. Thank you for watching on YouTube if you're here.
Thank you so much.
This has been amazing. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Yes.
If we don't see you before then, and we'll see you in January.
2022.
In 2022.
Crazy.
2022. I should have practiced something before. 2022. Oh, all right. I'll do that.
All right, good.
That's 40.
That's good.
All right. Anyway, good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.